Good morning. Happy Woden Day. Yeah. All right. Woden Day, Wednesday, Woden Day. All right. Amazon. Flash briefing. Amazon. Amazon. Flash briefing.
Here's your flash briefing. In NPR News. Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Nora Raum. President Biden is continuing his three-day swing through parts of the West. NPR's Windsor Johnston reports the president is expected to make another pitch for his economic agenda during a stop today in New Mexico.
In a speech in Albuquerque, Biden is expected to tout the benefits of his signature tax cut and climate change law and how it's contributing to an increase in clean energy and manufacturing. The White House says companies have committed to more than $6 billion in private sector investments across New Mexico since Biden took office. Those investments include union jobs and positions that don't require a four-year college degree.
Biden did,
From
or
New Mexico,
something New
Biden
Mexico
will travel
stepped
to
up and did?
Utah. During an event in Salt Lake City on Thursday, the president will mark the first anniversary of the PACT Act, which provides new benefits to veterans exposed to toxic substances. Windsor Johnston, NPR News.
Voters in Ohio have rejected an effort to make it harder to change the state's constitution. Republicans had proposed the threshold for an amendment to be approved be raised from a simple majority to 60%, and that proponents meet stricter requirements to place a proposed change on the ballot. The rejection means a referendum on the November ballot to enshrine the right to an abortion will need only a majority of the vote to pass. The top election official in Oregon says 10 state senators who've missed more than 10 legislative sessions will not be allowed to run for re-election next year. In response to Republican boycotts in recent years, voters approved a measure that lawmakers with more than 10 unexcused absences should be disqualified from being re-elected for the following term. Governor Tina Kotek says the Secretary of State is simply following the law.
I think it's clear that the voters intended, when people don't show up for work, that they will be held accountable.
The Republicans say they'll challenge the rule in court. A federal judge is temporarily blocking Colorado's higher age limit for gun purchases. The change was supposed to take effect this week. Andrew Kenny of Colorado Public Radio has more.
The new law in Colorado was meant to stop anybody under 21 from buying a gun, but a nonprofit and two young men sued, saying it would interfere with their constitutional rights. A federal judge found their case has some merit. He issued a preliminary injunction stopping the new age limits from taking effect while the lawsuit proceeds. The judge wrote that Colorado officials had failed to prove the United States
You allowed them to join the military at 18
limiting guns in this
and
way,
use guns,
mirroring the Supreme Court's reasoning for
pick an
striking
age.
down a New York
Do you join the military and become an adult at 18 and able to purchase weapons,
or
or do
This
you need to
is
wait till you're
NPR
21 to join the
News
military?
from Washington. Ahead of the next election, there's a new group focused on getting young people elected to office. It's run by gun control activist and youth organizer David Hogg. NPR's Elena Moore reports.
Hogg has been an activist since the mass shooting at his high school in Parkland, Florida in 2018. Now, at 23 years old, he's starting a new group called Leaders We Deserve. It will support candidates under 35 vying for state and federal office. In an interview with NPR, Hogg said the group is a culmination of his political efforts so far, and it has a bigger meaning too.
What I see this as is a second step for our generation and the people in power that we're not just voting, we're also running.
The group's launch comes 14 months before the 2024 election, in which the Brookings Institution expects Gen Z and millennial voters to make up nearly half the electorate. Elena Moore, NPR News, Washington.
A humanitarian aid organization says one of its nurses and her daughter are free nearly 2 weeks after being kidnapped in Haiti. They've been seized July 27 from a clinic near the capital Port-au-Prince in an area controlled by gangs. The charity provides medical care and educational services to people in poor neighborhoods. Officials did not say whether a ransom had been paid. It was 78 years ago today that the United States dropped an atomic bomb on Nagasaki, Japan, 3 days after dropping the first one on Hiroshima. The mayor of Nagasaki noted today's anniversary with a plea that world powers abolish nuclear weapons. I'm Nora Rahm, NPR News in Washington.
With NPR Plus, you get bonus content from behind the scenes of your favorite shows,
Amazon.
like the NPR Pop.
Skip.
In NASA news, NASA will provide live coverage
Yeah.
beginning at 10:15 a.m. EDT Wednesday, August 9th, as 2 Roscosmos cosmonauts conduct a spacewalk to upgrade the International Space Station. The spacewalk is expected to begin about 10:45 a.m. and last up to 7 hours. 4 crew members now are assigned to launch on NASA's SpaceX Crew 8 mission for a long-duration stay aboard the International Space Station. As part of the state's First Earth to Space call, students from Louisiana will have an opportunity soon to hear from NASA astronauts aboard the International
Louis
Space
and Anna
Station.
sitting in a tree. King Louis, Queen Anna, not
NASA
Louis.
and Axiom Space have signed an order for the 4th private astronaut mission to the International Space Station, targeted to launch no earlier than August 2024 from the agency's Kennedy Space
Louis
Center
and
in
Anna
Florida.
sitting in a tree. Hey,
A Northrop Grumman Cygnus resupply spacecraft is on its way to the International Space Station with more than 8,200 pounds of NASA science investigations and cargo after launching at 8:31 p.m. EDT Tuesday from the agency's Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia. In weather. Right now in Seattle, it's 65 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies. Today's forecast has rainy weather with a high of 72 degrees and a low of 57 degrees. From NASA. NASA will provide live coverage beginning at 10:15 a.m. EDT Wednesday, August 9th, as 2 Roscosmos cosmonauts conduct a spacewalk to upgrade the International Space Station. The spacewalk is expected to begin about 10:45
it's a
a.m.
job.
and last up to
Takes
7 hours.
in a spacesuit. Amazon. Off. Amazon. Tell us a joke.
I asked a lone wolf for a stick of gum, but she didn't have a pack.
Well. Did she have a stick? No comment. She didn't have a pack. No, she had a stick. That's what you asked for. All right. Have a great Wednesday. Peace out.